He wasn't just a football player. He was a genetic anomaly, a walking cheat code, a real-life Madden creative player, but in flesh and blood. Today, we're diving into the incredible, almost unbelievable story of the most freakish athlete to ever step on an NFL field. From jaw-dropping physical stats to moments that made even seasoned pros question reality. This is a deep dive into the legend that left fans and players alike asking, is he even human? But wait, it gets crazier. Let's meet the most freakish player in NFL history. Bo Jackson, origins of a freak. Before we talk about Bo Knows, before Tecmo Bowl, before the Nike ads, let's go back to the beginning. Vincent Edward Jackson, born in Bessemer, Alabama in 1962, a town where dreams were often crushed by poverty. But Bo was different. His mom nicknamed him Bo after a wild boar because he couldn't sit still. And once you hear the stories, you'll see how perfect that name was. At age 13, he was already outpacing grown men. He wasn't just good, he was dominant in every sport. By the time he was in high school, he was a state champion in track, a baseball phenom, and an unstoppable force on the football field. But here's the first what moment. Collision Bo once hit a baseball so hard it decapitated a bat. That's right, the bat split in half mid-swing. Pitchers refused to throw to him in high school. One even walked off the mound and told his coach, "I'm not getting killed out here." Freak numbers, the stats that break brains. Okay, let's talk raw athletic freakiness. Because this is where Bo Jackson enters the conversation with a sledgehammer. Bo ran a 4.12-second 40-yard dash. Let me repeat that, 4.12. To this day, that's faster than any recorded time at the NFL combined. For context, Tyreek Hill runs a 4.29. Usain Bolt, at his peak, projected to run around 4.22. And Bo? He was 230 pounds of solid muscle. That's like strapping a rocket to a tank. Oh, and he could bench 400 pounds, throw a baseball over 300 feet, and had a vertical leap over 40 inches. Think about it. This guy could run like a sprinter, jump like a basketball player, hit like a linebacker, and throw like a quarterback. There's not another athlete in NFL history that comes close to combining all those tools in one body. Let's play a game. Name another player who ran a 4.1, benched 400, played 2 pro sports at the same time, and turned defenders into crash test dummies. I'll wait. Smirking face. Part 3. Dual sport dominance. MLB and NFL. You might have heard that Bo played 2 sports, but let's unpack what that really meant. Most athletes have enough trouble playing one sport at the highest level. Bo? He was an all-star in the MLB and a pro bowler in the NFL. The only athlete to ever do both. Just think about this. In 1989, Bo Jackson hit 32 home runs and had 105 RBIs in the MLB season. Then turned around and joined the Raiders mid-season and ran for 950 yards in just 11 games. Let me ask you this. Have we taken Bo for granted? Because that kind of 2-sport mastery hasn't been matched. Even Deion Sanders, who is also freakish in his own right, never dominated both sports quite like Bo. Imagine LeBron James playing in the NBA playoffs and suiting up for the Yankees during the offseason and being elite at both. That's the level of insanity we're talking about. Part 4. Legendary NFL moments. Okay, now to the NFL. Bo played only 38 games in his entire NFL career. That's it. But what he did in those 38 games. Borderline mythical. Remember the game against the Seahawks in 1987? Bo rushed for 221 yards and ran over Hall of Fame linebacker Brian Bosworth at the goal line like he was a parking cone. The crowd erupted. Bosworth was never the same after that. Even crazier? On one play, Bo took the ball, broke through the line, and ran 91 yards to the end zone, then kept running all the way through the tunnel, disappearing from the stadium like a ghost. It wasn't just speed, it was style, swagger, power. Bo could stiff arm, hurdle, juke, and sprint, all in one play. Here's a stat to blow your mind. In 1990, Bo averaged 5.6 yards per carry. That's more than Barry Sanders, Eric Dickerson, or Walter Payton ever averaged in a season. So here's a question for the comments. Back-end index pointing right, if Bo had stayed healthy, is he a top 3 running back of all time? Maybe even number 1? Part 5. The freak accident that ended it all. January 13th, 1991. Raiders versus Bengals. A routine play. Bo takes a handoff, gets tackled from behind, and something just snaps. What nobody knew at the time, Bo had just suffered a hip dislocation so severe it literally cut off blood flow to the bone. The man popped his own hip back into place on the field. Why? Because Bo Jackson didn't feel pain like normal humans. He walked off the field. Walked. Doctors later said it was one of the most traumatic hip injuries ever seen in football. That was the end of his NFL career. What makes it worse? If that happened today, with modern medicine, he might have returned a year. Imagine Bo Jackson in today's NFL with today's rules, technology, and health science. Scary thought, huh? Part 6. What could have been? The hypothetical universe. Let's go full Marvel multiverse for a second. Thought balloon, imagine this. Bo Jackson plays 10 full seasons in the NFL. He easily rushes for over 10,000 yards, probably closer to 13,000. Add in his explosive style, and he likely breaks highlight reels every week. Nike makes him the face of football. Madden puts him on every cover. And the GOAT debate? Suddenly, it's not just Jerry Rice versus Tom Brady. You'd have to include Bo Jackson in the conversation. Here's a thought experiment for you. Would Bo Jackson be the greatest athlete in American history if he never got injured? Drop your take in the comments. Part 7. Legacy and Impact. The freak lives on. Even though his career was short, Bo's legacy? Untouchable. He inspired a whole generation of athletes. From LeBron to Saquon Barkley, players cite Bo as the prototype, the ideal of what an athlete could be. And then there's Tecmo Bowl, where Bo was literally unstoppable. If you played as the Raiders, you had to give Bo the ball. He was a glitch before glitches were cool. To this day, Bo is the only athlete who feels like a myth, even when you watch the real footage. The gear, the size, the power, the style. He was 30 years ahead of his time. Outro. Closing thoughts plus interaction. So, is Bo Jackson the most freakish player in NFL history? Maybe. But here's what makes him legendary. It's not just what he did. It's what he could have done. Bo was a comet. Brief, blinding, unforgettable. The kind of athlete you tell your kids about. And they ask, wait, he really did all that? Yeah, he did. But now we want to hear from you. Backhand index pointing right. Do you think Bo would have broken every NFL rushing record? Backhand index pointing right. Is there an athlete today that even comes close to matching his freakishness? Sound off in the comments. And hey, while you're down there, hit that like button if Bo ever made your jaw drop. Because let's be real, Bo knows football. Bo knows baseball. But now, Bo knows legacy.